I'm sitting in front of the original Chapel of the Cross with Charlie Browning, a remarkable person, an Episcopalian, and a communicant of the Chapel of the Cross. Welcome, Charlie.
Well, thank you.
One of the joys of doing these Please Note videos is that I get an opportunity to meet Episcopalians living in the world who are actually making a difference for the gospel and living their discipleship. And Charlie is one of those folk.
Thank you. And I said to you, welcome, because I belong to the Chapel of the Cross.
Yes,
this is my church, so I can say welcome to you.
Yeah, thank you, my friend.
Yes.
Charlie has been the inspiration and main support for a series that is going to air on Day1 radio, and the information on that is included with this edition of Please Note. The title of the series is Faith and Global Hunger, a special series in support of the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, goals which are intended to garner the world and the peoples and the leaders and the nations of the world to make poverty history. Charlie, tell us a little bit about the series. Who's going to be on it?
Yes. We have a series of 4 people. The first, Harding Carter, who's the vestryman at this church, and a remarkable man and remarkable address that he has done. And the second is David Beckman, Barbara Lundblad II, and David Beckman III, and you, Bishop. We are honored to have you for the 4th address. Yes.
And both Barbara Lundblad is a biblical studies professor, New Testament, I believe.
At Union Seminary in New York.
And David Beckman?
David Beckman is Bread for the World, heads up Bread for the World. Just gotten an honorary degree or something, some huge... Some honor has come David Beckman's way just last week.
And you've got an additional special guest coming in September.
Yeah. We never believed we would get former President Carter, but we wanted to do that. Joe Monet, who went to the UN Development Goal in Washington, that committee, and when they heard about this series, they said, we want a 5th address. And when Joe came back and said, I think we can do this 5th address, I said, I know who we want. We want former President Carter. And that's who we have.
Well, how did it come about that you had this idea and this vision?
I was listening to Day1 in July last year, and it was a remarkable sermon on hunger. And she said something to the fact that $13 billion more spent each year, which end world hunger forever. And this is on 200 radio stations. And so I called Atlanta and said the next day, I want to underwrite 2 programs. And that's how I got started. Now we have 5 programs.
There you got 5.
Yeah.
Well, you're passionate about hunger. Why? Where's that come from?
Food is so important to me. I asked you if food was important to you, and you said, oh my goodness, yes. It's so important to me. And I cannot believe people going to bed hungry at night without 2 billion people, nearly 2 billion people, without food or without fresh or safe water. This is a crime that we Christians let this happen, and Christians around the world. If we got together, we can change this. We can make this a different world, and we've got to do it. We've got an opportunity with the Millennium Development Goals. And we've got to make this opportunity pay. We've got to do this.
Part of your inspiration was you told the story. You went to the director of Christian Formation Education here. You went to Gretchen?
I went to Gretchen, and Gretchen said, here's a book. I asked her for a book. And she said, yeah, here's a book. What can one person do? And this is where I found out about the Millennium Development Goals. Because I planned to go this series on world hunger. But now it's so much bigger than world hunger, because the 8 goals are so important.
And the series is intended to support the Millennium Development Goals by getting people of faith involved. And it includes practical advice and ways that people can actually be involved, as well as from praying to actually doing something with their hands.
If in fact this is a Marshall Plan for the poor of the world, if in fact it is, why in the world is there so little interest? Why in the world are people stirred up and almost angry that this has happened when the Millennium Development Goals gives us such an incredible opportunity to turn things around? And so in the next 3 months, we've got to do it, because they come together in September to reaffirm what and that's the last 5 years out of the 15-year plan.
Now, your story goes back a little ways. You were a student here in the 50s, weren't you?
I was here in 51, 52, and there was a time that absolutely changed my life. When I went back home, planning to stay just 3 months, my dad looked at me and he said, your radiance, your smile, and your happiness in your face, go back to that place and drink from that well. I'll run the farm. I'm a farmer, and I was supposed to be back on the farm, and here I was running away for 3 months. So I came down here for 2 years as a student and loved every minute of it. It changed my life.
There were some significant people in that journey for you. You mentioned a few of them earlier.
Yes. David Yates, the rector here, marvelous man, and then so many people that I got to know, and Bill Pregnell, Dean Pregnell from the West Coast, and Jack Spong. Jack is a lifelong friend and a dear, wonderful human being. Yeah.
The son of this diocese.
And the son of this diocese. Came right out of it. Yeah, that's exactly right.
You're a remarkable man. You are a testament that that book entitled What One Person Can Do is true. One person can make a difference, and all of us together can change the world.
All of us together can change the world. That's beautiful, Bishop. I love that.
Well, I love you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Information on this series is included with this edition of Please Note. Information that includes ways that you can apply for a grant from the diocese for projects that are involved in the Millennium Development Goals is likewise included. Thank you. God bless, and keep the faith.